The Honourable Pierre Yang.
President, thank you very much for the opportunity to just say a few words tonight. President, on the 16th of November 2023, I had the opportunity to discuss the Canadian responses concerning wartime internment of Canadians of Italian cultural heritage. On that occasion, I stated that Canadians can stand really tall and proud for addressing historical injustices, and I commend and acknowledge the Canadian nation for what they have done. Today, I wish to continue on that by moving to the United States and look at the government and official responses in that country in relation to Americans of Italian cultural heritage and their wartime internment during World War II. To just rehash a bit, 418 people of Italian cultural heritage were interned in the United States. In addition, some 600,000 Americans of Italian cultural heritage were subjected to discriminatory policies, such as curfews, searches, property seizures. After some 5 decades, President, the United States Congress passed the Wartime Violation of Italian American Civil Liberties Act in 1997, which contained some important statements. And I wish to just quote some of them. 1. The freedom of more than 600,000 Italian-born immigrants in the United States and their families was restricted during World War II by government measures that branded them enemy aliens and included carrying identification cards, travel restrictions, seizure of personal property. 3. During World War II, thousands of Italian-American immigrants were arrested and hundreds were interned in military camps. 6. The impact of wartime experience was devastating to Italian-American communities in the United States, and its effects are still being felt. President, on this point, I wish to make a few reflections in a few minutes, but I will continue. 7. A deliberate policy kept these measures from the public during the war. Even 50 years later, much information is still classified. The full story remains unknown to the public and has never been acknowledged in any official capacity by the United States government. President, this act also called on the President of the United States, and I quote, "On behalf of the United States government, formally acknowledge that these events during World War II, which represented a fundamental injustice against Italian Americans." And in response to the act, the United States Department of Justice compiled and presented a report in November 2001, which detailed the people who were interned and relocated. Nonetheless, there was no follow-up after the report until an attempt in 2017. President, as I mentioned earlier, I wish to make a few reflections at this point. In our daily lives, we all have our worries. We worry about the mortgage, the fuel, the rent, cost of living issues, as we have heard today, a fantastic motion moved by my good friend, the Honourable Sandra Carr. We worry about our children, about their school, their results at school, and we have worries at work. But they aren't the only things our communities worry. Your Asian neighbor may get told off and asked to go back to their own country. Your African friend may get called names. Our First Nations brothers and sisters have to deal with things from time to time as well. But it's not like they don't have the same cost of living issues that everyone else has. In fact, on top of the cost of living issues that everyone has in this state, they have extras to deal with. Social justice and historical injustice is no less important or significant to part of our community. We had a motion yesterday, which I will not refer to it in any detail. We were all here. It was attacking a part of our community. It was not on, and I was glad to see that it was resoundingly defeated. President, we know that reporting of racial discrimination and vilification is not the same number of the incidences that happen in the community. But these things happen. You have to delve into the details a little bit more. You just can't look at the official records. And a case in point today, President, Senator Pauline Hanson made a speech in the Senate today, and it was reported in the ABC earlier this date, the 21st of March, 2024, and I quote, "One Nation Senator Pauline Hanson has returned to some of the most controversial comments she has delivered in her parliamentary career in a speech to the Senate this morning." And I continue. In her 1996 speech, when she was elected as the member for the Queensland seat of Oxley, Senator Hanson said she believed Australia was in danger of being swamped by Asians. Those comments prompted a strong response, and some MPs left the chamber during her address. Today, she returned to comments and the reaction they prompted. Senator Hanson said, "I also warned we were in danger of being swamped by immigration from Asia. I was called racist, of course, by the major parties and big media who are in lockstep of a big Australia. But today, 7 out of the top 10 source countries for immigration to Australia are in Asia. Was I right? Well, you never admit it, but yes, I was." And that motion was defeated 38-3. And the 3 were, of course, 2 One Nation senators plus United Australia Party Senator Ralph Barbet, and that motion was defeated. President, I think Senator Hanson was a little bit more nuanced these days, because if you look at her actual words in 1996, they were a little bit more direct, and I will attempt to use the remaining time I have today to just refer to her 1996 first speech. I believe we are in danger of being swamped by Asians. Between 1984 and 1995, 40% of all migrants coming into this country were of Asian origin. They have their own culture and religion, form ghettos, and do not assimilate. Of course, I will be called racist, but if I can invite whom I want into my home, then I should have the right to have a say in who comes into my country. A truly multicultural country can never be strong or united. The world is full of failed and tragic examples, ranging from Ireland to Bosnia to Africa and closer to home, Papua New Guinea. America and Great Britain are currently paying the price. President, I condemn the words of Senator Hanson from 1996 and also today. I will conclude my remarks today.
Yeah.